Got mine next to it, which is currently pristine and undrilled. We're now going to rip into it with a drill, and I'm going to cry a little, and we'll be alright. We'll get there. We'll get there. We will. It's not going to go wrong.
From the desert's hot embrace to the cool of eucalyptus shade, no fence holds back the spirit of the path we bravely made. Ten adventures we won't be tamed, blazing trails.
G'day campers, welcome back to 10 Adventures. And last time I was talking to you, I put in this dash mat. And I was talking about potentially mounting my handset up here. And I've got to be honest, it's not going to work for me. If I take my handset out, what I've found is that if I try to mount it here, it's getting right in the way of the stalk, just here. So yeah, I'm going to run into the same problem I had with the unit falling off and turning on my wipers. Every time I go to try and grab my handset, I'm going to potentially knock my wipers. And sitting up here, well, it's in front of where I've placed my TPMS system, but also it's quite a long reach. I tend to sit quite far back in the seat, and so I'm having to reach forward. I want to keep my movements to a minimum. So I'm brought back to, what do I do with mounting this when it's in use? So a couple of the options that I've got, well, first and foremost is to use the standard GME mount. So this is designed to sit somewhere near, or anywhere you really want to mount it. But it's quite chunky. The magnet is great. I think that's a really great idea to simplify things. You're not having to lift up, you just pull straight towards you and you're good. It's quick access. But it doesn't sit, well, it'll sit really anywhere. If you're trying to put it onto either of your side panel mounts, it's not going to fit very well here. The reason being is that there's a bit of a curve to these panels. I did, in thinking about using that a little while ago, I actually 3D printed, and I'll just pop this up to the screen here, I actually 3D printed a curved replacement for the back panel for the magnetic mount. So this has just got a standard flat back. And you just take out these two screws here, and you can literally just bolt this straight on, and it will then mount a little bit more flush on the curved surface here. But it will leave it quite a distance out from the edge of the car, so it's going to be just a little bit closer to being in knee impact range. Yeah, I'm not convinced that that's the right answer. Now, I have been shown a solution that it scares the hell out of me, but we're gonna do it. If you remember back when I did my Go Fast button video, I was working with a guy, Ian, that actually loaned me the buttons out of his car to see whether or not they'd work. He's actually mounted his magnet into his dash permanently. So we're now going to take a drill to the interior of my car, and I'm not feeling good about it, but honestly, from having seen where it sits in Ian's car, it's the right way to do it. But yeah, for the second time in a couple of videos, I'm taking a drill to my car. So wish me luck, guys. Let's go and get started. Alright guys, bit of a different filming location. This is not my usual behind, this is not my shed. As I mentioned at the start, Ian, who helped me out with the Go Fast button, I'm actually in his workshop. He's going to help me with drilling this hole. So you can see here I've got the two parts side by side. I've got Ian's, and you've got mine next to it, which is currently pristine and undrilled. We're now going to rip into it with a drill, and I'm going to cry a little, and we'll be alright. We'll get there. We'll get there. We will. It's not going to go wrong. Anyway, so what we've got our two parts. As you can see, we're going to need a couple of things. We're going to need micrometer. That's just going to just so we can basically measure the exact depth and width that we need. We're going to need a very, very sharp knife because we're going to have to cut some of this, I'll call it pleather. So sharp knife that we're going to use to cut that so that we can then fold that back in and make the whole thing look nice and neat. We're going to need a step drill bit, like so. And then a few other bits and pieces. Most importantly, we are going to need a drill, and that's when we get to that point is when I'm going to cry. Depth marker, just a bit of texture, and I think that's pretty much everything. There might be a couple of other little bits and pieces. Definitely need some glue, a two-part epoxy, or something to secure the magnet in the back, which I'll move these things out of the way, turn this over. You'll see we've got the two-part epoxy magneted in there. So we've got a good template. So Ian's already done all the hard work, which is really good. Now it's just a matter of getting our hands in and just, oh, this is really hard. I don't want to do this, but it looks so much better, so we're going to do it. All right, let's get into it.
You reckon you're nervous?
Yeah.
You've already drilled holes.
Yeah, well, I did drill one when I put the drills in, and that was bad enough.
This was the first hole I put in a brand new car.
Yeah. So it's actually, looking at the back of it, it actually looks really pretty much right there, doesn't it? Looks like
So it's sort of...
use the calipers and work out your distance from the edge.
We go from the edge. Yep. They're not stainless steel.
Decent size for plastic, decent depth, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of thickness in it. And that was the inner
fabric,
foam rubber.
For a sec.
Oh, yeah.
So we got
So it's sort of
yeah, so you
fibry
get
sort
your
of
internal
stuff.
padding. Yeah.
So you can feel it bunched up there.
Yep.
But that'll come out anyway. So now we can go just a little bit bigger.
The secret here is slow and steady.
Very. Yeah, so see where it's bunched up just there.
Yep. So it's the inner padding punching through.
So as the drill went through, it's spun it on
Winding it
the
up.
drill.
Yeah. And winding it up. And this is the bit that this is there. No, coming back from this one.
Dentist tools.
Dentist tools.
Oh, they are great. And what we don't want to do is rip that. So
No.
we need to
Need to cut it slightly. So.
yeah, so it was 20, wasn't it?
20 from there. Yeah, just over 20.
So we don't want to go over. We
Over
want
1
to stay
centimetre.
under 10 each side.
Oh, this is the bit that hurts. Bloody hell. I want to say thanks for your help, but I'm not sure I want to thank you just yet.
If it stuffs up, you walk away with my one.
I think we'll be alright. It does stuff up, truth be told. Although there's
It won't be that expensive.
although the new model Prado is out, they are still making replacement parts, obviously, for the previous generation. So if this does go terribly wrong, we can get another part. I'm just reassuring myself here more than anything else. My thought here is if we can push this through, and I'll just make sure it comes through on camera, if we can get it through from this angle, we might be able to just fold these back a little bit and glue them in place temporarily, so that when we're ready to pop it through from the other way, they're already nice and tight. That's my thinking. I don't know if that's going to work, but that's my thing. That's my thought anyway. So one of the reasons that, apart from the fact that Ian's done this before, one of the reasons I've bought my gear here is you've watched the channel for a while. I've got some tools, but the biggest tool in most of my videos is this guy right here. So yeah, Ian's got all the tools. This is much easier. And that's now working that way. A lot of material taken out there.
That's why I put that down, because the bench is a bit rough. And we'll stretch it up. Oh, now this is 30-minute epoxy.
So this is going to be 30 minutes.
So what I tend to do is mix it and leave it sit.
Before you apply it.
Yeah. Otherwise it's too runny.
Okay, makes sense.
Especially in this warmer weather.
Yeah, because it is warm. It's 30-something degrees today, so... Alright, well, I'm going to let that settle for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. We'll come back and apply it. We'll see you guys in a sec. And while that's going, we're going to go and open a box. And compare it to some other options for the Prado. But more on that in my next video. We'll catch you in a bit. And just while we're waiting for that second batch of epoxy to dry, I sort of come and let you know that I'm not as much of an idiot as I thought. My last video on the jerry can bin, well, Ian copied me, and it's gone really well. Slightly different design to what I've done, but so as you can see, he's mounted his lid from the opposite direction to what I've done. He's got his own reasons for doing that, but essentially it's exactly the same technique he's followed. Angle grinder, just a couple of little bits and pieces that are different. He's got two latches, whereas I've only got one, and conversely, he's got one hinge where I've got two. Otherwise, and being honest, it's a better job than I did, but Ian's been very kind. He said that mine was a prototype and this is the professional job, so hats off to me for doing a professional. Doesn't know about professional. Well, more professional than mine, but you know, I'll take the decent prototype any day. So, but there you go. I did it and I've been copied, so as Ian said, imitation is the greatest form of flattery, so I'm quite pleased. Anyway, let's get back to that epoxy. Would you believe we almost did it a second time? The epoxy was really good, too hard. But we've got it in there. It's just not as pretty as it might have been otherwise. But it looks all right. So we've just put a little bit of black rubber on the backing, and that's just going to mean that when we're looking at it, you've got a nice seal inside here, so that it's when you're looking at it from inside the car, there's nothing visible there. So you're not staring through a hole into the inside of your car. But otherwise, that worked out really well. Now the important thing is that this is going to fit back in without any interference with the upholstery in the car. There's not going to be any issue getting this in and out. I'm just going to wet that. Just going to let the epoxy completely dry before I do, because if there's any that's sort of stuck to any of the connectors, like this little pin here, I don't want to accidentally lock this into my vehicle and not be able to get it out again. Not ideal. I mean, it shouldn't happen, but you know, end of the day. So I've got to say thank you, Ian, for all the help. I've really not had to do anything at all. I can guarantee you this would look a lot worse if I'd done it all. So, Ian, thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate the help as always. And maybe in the next couple of videos, maybe we'll do a bit of a rundown on your rig, because it's got a lot more done to it than mine, and I am going to be stealing a few ideas. Anyway, I'm going to go put this in the car. We'll see you in a sec. Well, there you have it, guys. We've put it in, and honestly, look, it looks really neat. The The magnet just sits cleanly in the upholstery. You can't. It doesn't look out of place. It doesn't look like it's been damaged in any way, shape, or form. Honestly, it looks kind of like it's meant to be there. And importantly, the handset just sits there. When I'm driving, I do tend to keep one hand lower on the steering wheel. It's just a quick grab, nice and close, and it's clean. So, look, that was a terrifying experience, let's be honest. But results speak for themselves. I can actually see the screen really easily. Because it's magnetic, I can also position it slightly to be facing a little bit more upward. I don't know how it's going to go while I'm driving, if it'll vibrate down back into a straight position, but the magnet's quite strong, so I'm not worried about it bouncing off or disconnecting while we're off-road. I think this is a really, really good solution. Let me know in the comments below if you're comfortable taking a drill to your interior like I have. I'm quite sure you could take it to an expert fitter and they'd do it for you. At the end of the day, personally, I'm glad I've done it, but yeah, I think I've shaved a few years off taking a drill to the car. Anyway guys, leave me a comment down below, let me know what you think, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.